Hello, and welcome to the Quality Improvement Training Series. This is Setting the Stage for Success, Part 2, Meetings, Leadership, and More. My name is Mary Beth Cox. I am a Quality Improvement Coordinator in the Office of Clinical Quality Management at DBHCS, and I am your presenter for the Quality Improvement Training Series. The goal of this training series is to increase your understanding of strategies that can set the stage for a successful quality improvement initiative. This is the second video of a two-part series. In the first video, we reviewed the focus framework and using a team-based approach. In this video, we will review holding effective meetings, using leadership skills, being prepared for common challenges, and celebrating success for your quality improvement initiative. If you have not seen the first video, we recommend that you go and also watch that video. These are the resources that will be referenced during this presentation. I want to point out the Public Health Foundation Quality Improvement Quick Guide. It is a self-paced orientation to quality improvement. If you enjoy the information in this presentation, I highly encourage you to also go through that quick guide. In the first video, we introduced the focus framework. In that video, we talked about organizing a team who understands the process. In this video, we are continuing to discuss strategies that will support the work of the team to answer the three questions and do the Plan, Do, Study, Act model. Now let's start talking about holding effective meetings. We are going to discuss important components of effective meetings, how to make sure members are included and heard, meeting as frequently as needed to do the work, and ensuring that the work between meetings is carried out. Now let's talk about what are some important components of effective meetings. First, you need to be clear about the purpose of the meeting. You need to have an agenda that aligns with that purpose. And your agenda could have elements such as allotted amounts of time for each agenda item. You need to start and end on time and stay on topic. You also need to take notes and minutes that include key points. And for tasks that are identified, list who will do it and a deadline. At the end of the meeting, you need to summarize the next steps. And after the meeting, distribute your notes or minutes to all members and invite corrections. What else can you think of that would make an effective meeting? How can you make sure that all your members are included and heard? Here are some ideas for what to do during a meeting and outside of the meeting. During the meeting, if somebody isn't talking very much, you can solicit their opinion specifically. For instance, say, "Hey, Sally, I noticed I haven't heard from you in a while. Do you have any ideas to share?" If the meeting is virtual, you could invite members to use the chat feature to participate. You could set some group rules so people understand what to expect or understand how they can participate. For example, do people need to raise their hands to speak, or is it okay to jump in? You should also consider being able to make accommodations to offer other options to participate in meetings. Outside of the meeting, you could invite input or feedback prior to or between meetings. You could tell people that they could email you or call you to give their ideas and feedback. You could offer to hold one-on-one conversations to get input and ideas. If you do things like this, you could also consider not waiting for people to come to you, but reaching out to them individually and saying, "Hey, can we meet? I really want your ideas about this." What other ideas do you have to make sure people are included and heard during meetings. Also, what are the implications of not including everybody? Some key implications would be that you don't hear their ideas, you don't get their feedback, and their feedback and ideas could be very valuable to informing the direction of your quality improvement effort. So you really want to make sure to get those ideas. You've worked hard to get these people on your team. Now you need to make sure that you capture their thoughts and feedback. It is important to think about meeting as frequently as you need to do the work. So you will need to think about how frequently should your team meet to work on a quality improvement initiative. There is such a thing as meeting too much or too frequently. There's also such a thing as meeting not enough. So you need to talk with your team about the frequency of your meetings and what you think is necessary in order to keep moving forward at a reasonable pace. You also need to take into consideration your aim and your plan and the timeframes associated with those and what might be needed in advance of those that your team needs to be involved in so that you can plan your meetings accordingly. Your minimum meeting schedule may be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly, but you need to put some thought into your meeting frequency in order to get the work done. It is really important to think about how you ensure the work that needs to happen between meetings is carried out. This is also known as holding each other accountable. So some ways to do that are presented on this slide. As we reviewed earlier, you need to make sure that the tasks and the who, what, when, etc. of the tasks are clear at the end of each meeting. And you need to distribute this information after the meeting ends. So it needs to be clear who is responsible for what so that that information has been communicated. You probably need to check in with people between meetings to see how it's going. You can send an email to do this. If you have a chat feature, you can chat with somebody. Just check in to see how it's going with their task. Make sure that it's on the following agenda and that you cover, when the whole team is there, that issue and ask what happened. You may consider sending people reminders and putting it on their calendar if you have that ability on your calendar system. If there are delays, ask people to communicate that and document the barriers and challenges that came up and share with the whole team the why about the delays and barriers. Your team may be able to help you overcome some of those challenges. What else can you think of to make sure that the work happens between meetings? This is an activity called How Can This Be Better? It's where we take a task identified during a meeting and see how we could improve it to help make sure that the follow-up occurs. So at our meeting, a task identified was to collect baseline data. We could improve that by adding some who, what, when, where, why, and how type information. So a better statement for follow-up would be, by the next meeting, Sally will develop a plan to collect baseline data on the topic of medication errors. Another task identified during our meeting was to develop recommendations to bring to the larger subcommittee. We added some more detail to that to ensure that we answered some who, what, when, why, where questions. And now we see that Joe, Sally, Sean, and Martha will meet next Friday at 10 a.m. to develop at least 2 draft recommendations based on today's case review to be presented at next month's meeting. So adding the who, what, when, why, where, and how helps add those details to make sure that the follow-up occurs. Now let's talk about leadership skills. Why is it important to think about leadership skills when it comes to doing quality improvement projects with a team? Doing quality improvement work is a change process, and change takes a lot of work. Leadership skills are needed to strengthen the work of the team and manage change. Leadership skills will be needed throughout the journey of the quality improvement project for different reasons, so it's helpful to think about what leadership skills you may need to use in different situations. You can also think about how you could empower members of your team to learn and utilize these leadership skills as well. The table on this slide is from an article called Implementing the PDCA Cycle for Change Leaders, Understanding Your Leadership Style, referenced at the bottom of the slide. It outlines 6 different leadership styles, when you would use each one, and what it does. For example, the first one is the visionary leadership style. You would use it when you want to create a new vision or direction for your team or project. It motivates people toward a shared vision of change. In the article itself, there is a tool where you can assess how strong you are in each of the 6 leadership styles. Now let's talk about some common challenges. It is helpful for a team, as you are embarking on doing a quality improvement initiative, to understand what some common challenges are, so you can work from the beginning to try to avoid them or address them. This information is from an article of the same title, Top 10 Problems Encountered by Quality Improvement Teams. The link is on the resources slide for this presentation. Let's read through them. So, the common challenges are, number 1, not having discrete, measurable, time-bound aim statements. Number 2, not having a team charter, also known as wandering aimlessly. Number 3, choosing team members based on who's available, not who was needed. Number 4, not using or skipping steps in the problem-solving process, such as the PDCA cycle. Number 5, taking too long to complete a PDCA cycle. Number 6, not maturing as a team. Number 7, never collecting baseline data. Number 8, lack of training in quality improvement. Number 9, not doing a root cause analysis. And 10, not pilot testing or studying the test. Have you ever encountered any of these as you were part of a quality improvement team? What happened and how might you address it differently next time? Finally, let's talk about celebrating success. It's actually one of the steps in the team process checklist, but I believe it deserves its own slide and greater attention. Teamwork and quality improvement work is hard, important work. Celebration is rewarding and brings joy to the people who are involved, and that's important. It's important to enjoy our work. So what is success for a quality improvement team? It is achieving your goals, but it could also be completion of a project, learning something important, developing new partnerships. What else can you think of that could be success for a team? Why do you need to celebrate success? We just talked about this a little bit, that it's an achievement, it's an accomplishment. It took a lot of work, and it was hard work. Perhaps it contributed to personal growth or organizational growth. Perhaps you helped build momentum for future quality improvement projects and teamwork in your organization. There are many reasons to celebrate success. How can you celebrate success? Again, there are many ways to celebrate success. So you can think about what would work well for you and your team and your organization. Some ideas are here. Special recognition at an organizational event, such as a large staff meeting or other event. It could be an announcement in a newsletter, maybe an ice cream party, or a public poster or flyer. I think it's important that celebration of success be public, or at least public within your organization or agency, so that people recognize the work that you've done and it can serve as inspiration to others to participate in quality improvement projects. In summary, in this presentation, we have reviewed how to have effective meetings, including people's voices. We've talked about leadership skills, and we've reviewed common challenges that teams encounter. And finally, we hit on the importance of celebrating success. Thank you for attending this two-part series on setting the stage for success in your quality improvement initiatives. The next series will focus on root cause analysis techniques. I hope you enjoyed this and will enjoy the other parts of this series. Thank you.